This is Time Warner Cable's Local Edition. My name is Brad Pomerance. We are joined today by Rajiv Dalal. He recently ended a successful term as the Deputy Film Czar of the City of Los Angeles. Now is running the MS Hope Foundation, but you're here to talk to us about the California Film and Television Job Retention and Promotion Act, which has been very successful. Tell us about it. It was passed last year.
Thank you for having me on the show. You know, I believe that this jobs bill was probably one of the great middle-class jobs bills of our time.
It's funny you say that. I want to interrupt because there was and there has been a perception that these corporate welfare programs for Hollywood executives are just that.
And that was why it was so difficult over the past several years to really get traction up in Sacramento. And we had to pretty much get labor, small business, a coalition, an intergovernmental coalition of mayors, the California Congressional Committee, all together in order to convince the governor that this was not a handout for the studio heads and the moguls, but rather to protect and save and bring back thousands of middle-class production jobs.
If you think about what had happened prior to this passage, we had a program in California, $100 million. New York had almost $500 million. Toronto had their programs. North Carolina had theirs. Louisiana had theirs. Our clock was being cleaned. I mean, when you say runaway production, we were living it.
Yeah.
What was it like? What were you seeing on the ground prior to this bill's passage?
Well, I think you hit it right on the head. With countries like the United Kingdom and Australia with incredible 35% incentives, Vancouver, Atlanta, New York, New Orleans, and Louisiana, it was very difficult for us to be competitive with only $100 million.
Which was snapped up
on day one, and there was a lottery list because you couldn't figure out who it should go to because there was so much demand and so little supply.
And as I understand it as well, that $100 million program had tremendous limitations. And so
it did.
You know,
let me go back to your earlier question of what we were seeing. Well, I mean, just in my neighborhood in La Cañada, Flint Ridge, there were 3 folks that were working not only on production crews but also in VFX that had been out of the state for 6 to 9 months, had missed their children's recitals, their children's graduation. One was getting divorced because his wife couldn't fathom being alone for this long of a period of time. It was devastating to families.
So the program that passed, $330 million. About a triple of what the prior program was. The question, though, is that even enough?
Well, look, I think that it is enough for us to be competitive right now. There will always be, because it's California and it's the hub of the entertainment industry, there will always be more demand than there's supply. But we have to show that this program, this increased and enhanced program is successful. It's cash positive. It brings back the jobs that we said until we go and ask for a further increase. Now, yes, it absolutely has. In the first installation of the credit, we broke it up into television and feature in two installments this coming year. In May, we did the first one for television. We brought back from out of state 4 productions. I was just on the set of Secret and Lies yesterday. Veep. Several others, and the fact is that these are thousands of jobs, right? Because you're looking at 9-month. These are hour-long dramas, 9 months, well-paying, 90,000 average pay,
local
and these
restaurants.
are 250 to 300 jobs. That's just crew, and as you brought up, small business. I mean, one of the great statistics that I like to use is when you look at the stats of Argo, because Argo was the last feature film, one of the last features.
Tell us quickly, we're running out.
Sure. It spent in 48 days of production. It spent $46 million locally. And you're talking about $5 million in sites.
His name is Rajiv Dalal. He was the Deputy Film Czar for LA. He is now the Executive Director of the Multiple Sclerosis Hope Foundation. I'm Brad Pomerance, and this is Time Warner Cable's Local Edition.